Am I on? Am I on? Okay. So today we're going to talk about bloodborne pathogens and infection control. Can anyone tell me what a bloodborne pathogen is? A bloodborne pathogen is an infectious microorganism in the human blood that causes disease in the humans. Can anybody think of what 3 bloodborne pathogens possibly were exposed to as healthcare workers?
HIV.
Correct.
Hepatitis
Which one?
C.
A and B. Correct. Hepatitis B affects the following body organs. A and C affects which organs?
Liver.
The liver. And HIV affects which system?
Immune.
Immune system, correct. Carriers of the hepatitis B virus can pass the disease on to others even though they may never develop the symptoms of the disease. Is that true or false?
True.
That is true. The hepatitis B virus can survive in dried blood for at least a week on environmental surfaces. Is that true or false?
True.
That is true. Correct. Hepatitis B virus is a vaccine, that we offer here at the facility for all employees. If you've never received the vaccine, it is something that is available to you. It is a series of 3 injections. You receive one initially, one a month later, and then 6 months after that you receive the final vaccination. We strongly encourage all employees who are potentially at risk for exposure to blood or bodily fluids that you receive this vaccination. If you would like, you can come see me at any point in time afterwards and we can talk about that. Is there an effective vaccine to prevent diabetes?
No.
No. HIV?
No.
No.
No. Hepatitis B? Yes. Hepatitis C?
No.
No. Not as of this moment. And osteoporosis?
No.
No. Correct. Are there effective treatments available for chronic forms of these 3 bloodborne pathogens? Treatments is the word there, not
Cures.
Not cures, correct. So there are effective treatments. Which of the following is useful in helping prevent contamination of bloodborne pathogens? What do we use here at the facility? What is it called? Standard precautions. It's also called universal precautions. Another word for it is PPE, correct, or personal protective equipment. So the personal protective equipment that we provide here at Riotes includes a gown. When is a time where you think you might have to wear a gown? What might you be doing that you might be exposed?
Incontinent care.
Incontinent care, if you have somebody that has C. diff. If you have a wound that is draining or that you're irrigating, you might need to wear a gown so that you don't spread anything to the next person you're caring for afterwards. How about when would you need to wear a mask? If you have somebody that's coughing, that has a droplet infection of some sort, you might need to wear a mask. How about goggles?
Blood
Priscilla.
spatters.
Blood spatters, irrigating a wound,
Irrigating.
and then gloves. When do you have to wear gloves?
Always.
All the time, when you're doing incontinent care, when you're doing oral care. Someone asked earlier if you needed to wear gloves when you're feeding. You do not. I don't think there's ever been a time where we've ever needed to wear gloves. Obviously, if you're worried about contamination, you're going to use Purell, or you're going to wash your hands after you care for the resident. But for dignity reasons, we don't use gloves while we're feeding the residents. What goes in this bag?
Needles.
Not quite. Needles we put in a sharps container because we want to make sure that no one gets stuck. So we put it in a hard container like this. Where would we find these containers?
Med carts.
In the med carts? Where else are they located?
Dirty linen.
They're in the dirty utility rooms. They're in the bath complexes as well. These have a line on them that tell you how full they should be. It's important that we don't fill above this line, because when you fill above this line, you're potentially at risk for what, Priscilla?
Needle sticks.
Needle sticks, correct. So it's really important that you don't stick your hand in there. If you dropped something in there, don't stick your hand in there. Even if it's your diamond ring, don't stick your hand in there.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Everything's replaceable. You certainly do not want HIV or hepatitis B because you had to get in there and get your ring out of there. These lock, and when they're full and they're locked, who do we give these to? Or where do we take them?
Housekeeping can take them, and we
Maintenance?
can take them.
It's maintenance.
Housekeeping and maintenance, correct. Any hazardous waste material, anything in this red color, goes out to the doghouse. The doghouse, everything is weighed in the infectious waste, just so you know.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So here's your infectious waste bags. So the only thing that goes in here is your dressings, your anything that you've taken care of the resident with that possibly has any drainage, blood, or anything on it. If you're washing and drying your hands after you're all done providing care and you're getting ready to leave the room, so you're drying your hands off with a clean paper towel, does that paper towel need to go in this infectious waste bag, or can it go in a regular garbage can?
Regular.
It can go in a regular garbage can, correct. What goes in this bag?
Linen.
Linens, correct. Correct, correct. What's this kit?
Blood spill.
It's a blood spill kit. We keep the blood spill kits in the dirty utility room, and if it's a little drop of blood on the floor that you can clean up with a paper towel, you don't need the blood spill kit. If it's a big puddle of blood, you need the blood spill kit. This blood spill kit has everything you possibly could need. There's long gloves, there's some powdered material that you sprinkle on top of the blood spill, and then it creates like jello with it. And then you use this little scooper to clean it all up and put it in your red bag. And then when you've got all that all cleaned up, you can change your gloves and put on these other gloves and wipe up the floor with a antibacterial wipe and put that all in there. This red bag then would obviously go where?
Biohazard.
The biohazardous container, which is in the dirty utility room. The big red hamper, yes. Yes, guys. So, how long do you have to wash your hands for?
20 seconds.
20 seconds, correct. When you're washing your hands, it's important that you wash all the way up to your wrists, that you wash the front and the back of your hands, that you wash in the webs of your hands, around your fingernails, underneath your fingernails are really gross. So it's really important that you get underneath your fingernails as well. And if you're really doing a thorough job, it does take all of 20 seconds. It's your best defense against spreading of infection and any bloodborne pathogens to protect you as well as the residents. If there's not the capacity for you to wash your hands at the time, you're not in a situation where you can wash with soap and water, what could you do instead?
The wipes.
Hand sanitizer or the hand wipes, correct. Correct, correct. Is it necessary to wash your hands after you remove your gloves?
Yes.
Yes. When else should you wash your hands?
All the time.
All the time. Before you go in to give care, after you go in to give care. Before you go on break, after you go on break. Before you use the bathroom, after you use the bathroom. You should just wash your hands all the time. Use hand sanitizer all the time. There's a little note in front of Jennifer there that talks about the desk surface. Can you read that?
The average office desk is home to 20,000 germs per square inch. I read this right before you said that, and I was getting very nervous.
I washed my desk off today, just so you know.
Yeah, back away, right?
I'm like, oh my god.
But that's really important to remember when you are having banana nut bread on the desk or pizza on the desk, that those surfaces might not have been clean from the person ahead of you, so it's really important that you think about that before you consume your meals on the units. Sharp containers must be replaced routinely to prevent overfilling. True or false?
True.
True. Regulated waste such as blood and items caked with blood or potentially infectious materials must be disposed of in accordance with state and local laws. True or false?
True.
Okay, list 2 advantages of prompt reporting of exposure.
Early detection.
Early detection. Meaning, if you were to stick yourself with a needle or cut yourself with a razor that had been used by another resident, we would send you to Pulse for testing. We would get your blood tested. We talk to the resident as well to make sure that they agree to testing as well. And we check both of those, and then also they do counseling, and they offer you the option of gamma-globulin injections as well, just so you know. And the other thing is, if you are using something that you're not familiar with, like different needle systems or something, if you stuck yourself, maybe it's because the rest of the staff don't know how to use those new needle systems either, so it's important that we have education when we have new systems in place so that everybody knows how to use them, so we don't prevent it, or so we don't have an injury to the resident or yourself. Any questions? Shut that off.